Hello, friends and mates. I welcome you once again. Every problem has its own way of solving. Listen to find out what I am trying to say. Once upon a time, in a quiet village nestled between rolling hills and a gentle river, there lived a hard-working donkey. The donkey's job was to carry heavy loads across the river to the nearby town, where he would deliver goods to the villagers. He was strong and patient, but the tasks he performed were often tiring, especially when the load was too heavy. One day, the donkey was asked to carry a sack full of salt across the river. The sack was large, and the salt inside made it incredibly heavy. As the donkey trudged along, the weight became unbearable, and he began to tire. The sun was high in the sky, beating down on him, and the journey across the river seemed longer than usual. Finally, the donkey could no longer bear the weight of the salt. He thought to himself, "If I can just roll into the water, the salt will dissolve, and the sack will be much lighter. Then I can carry it across with ease." So, without hesitation, the donkey waded into the shallow part of the river and rolled onto his side. As he lay in the cool water, the salt dissolved and dissolved until there was almost nothing left in the sack. The donkey stood up, feeling lighter than ever, and happily continued his journey across the river. By the time he reached the other side, he barely noticed the load on his back. He felt triumphant, pleased with his clever idea. The next day, the donkey was once again tasked with carrying a load. But this time, it was not salt. This time, it was a sack of sponges. The donkey didn't think much of it and carried the sack, expecting another easy journey. As he approached the river, he remembered the success of his plan from the previous day. "I'll roll into the water again, and it will be just as easy," he thought. Confidently, the donkey entered the river and rolled onto his side, just as he had done the day before. But as he stood up and shook himself off, he was shocked to find that the sack had become much heavier, not lighter. The sponges, having soaked up the water, were now weighed down by the added weight. The donkey could hardly move under the new burden. He struggled to carry the sack, his legs aching with the effort. The donkey trudged slowly to the other side of the river, his head hanging low in disappointment. He had made a mistake. The water that had helped him the day before had turned against him, and instead of lightening his load, it had made it even heavier. He realized that not every problem could be solved with the same trick, and he learned a valuable lesson that day. Sometimes things aren't always what they seem. What works in one situation may not work in another. Exhausted and wiser, the donkey reached the other side of the river. He sat down by the riverbank, reflecting on his actions. Sometimes, the solution to a problem is not always as simple as it seems, he thought. I must approach each challenge with a clear mind, rather than relying on the same approach every time. From that day forward, the donkey became more careful when carrying his loads. He knew that each burden was different, and he learned to think carefully about how to approach each situation. He realized that true wisdom wasn't in finding shortcuts, but in recognizing that every task had its own unique challenges. The story emphasizes the importance of being thoughtful and adaptable when facing challenges. While it's tempting to rely on quick fixes or shortcuts, not every solution will work for every situation. Sometimes what worked in the past may not be effective in a new scenario. It's crucial to assess the situation with a clear mind, considering the unique circumstances rather than jumping to conclusions. By practicing flexibility, patience, and understanding, we can approach problems more effectively and find better solutions. Life often requires us to adjust our strategies and remain open-minded, recognizing that each challenge is different. Did you really feeling relaxed after listening? I hope so, and thank you for watching. Leave a like and comment your experience below.